Topalov plays now knight d3, and that looks like a menacing, counter-attacking move, getting the knight doing something, potentially coming back, but immediately eyeing f2 with a threat of mate, actually, because the bishop's also covering h1. So white has to do something. So he has to have time for a defensive move in the midst of this attack. It's like an advert, being interrupted when you're watching a fantastic film and an advert comes along and you've got to wait a few minutes. Okay, advert time. Okay, oh yeah, rook c2, and then carry on with the film afterwards. Okay, what is black doing about this attack? Rook takes e4 and rook e7. I mean, this is redefining attacking chess. This is such, an interesting game to have a look at if you're an attacking player, for what's happened, the beautiful Zwischenzug. And if you're a Catalan player, this is such a delight that, a lot of Catalan players would, give up a pawn for long-term compensation. But then to do a knight sack, and then to do such a beautiful Zwischenzug is incredible. Just, the queen and rooks and the fawn pawn. So queen h7 here. And now there's the final, beautiful touch to the game tactically, which is played, which actually Rivka is actually indicating as the second best move, but it's still a crushing move. Let's have a look at the other move as well. But Anand played f7 check. Now, if there's these horrible entry points e8 and c8, so if rook takes f7, which wasn't played, then just rook e8 and simply the queen and rook, are coordinating on f8 to deliver the mate. So rook f7 is out of the question. So Topalov has to play queen takes f7 here. And now Anand, he can't obviously play rook g6 because of the bishop. So he just snaps up the bishop because that also gives now rook g4 as a menacing threat. So rook g4 is defended, you would say, by, say, knight takes f2. So we're going to have a look at that. But there's also another way to stop rook g4, which is queen f5. Well, let's have a first look at knight takes f2, which wasn't in the game continuation. Now here, basically the rook is also useful for h4. And white's almost material. If he gets the queens off and takes this knight, he's going to be material up. But there's a few crushing moves here. Queen g5 check. So say queen g7. Now check here, and the rook, is simply threatening to come in. But in this position, say this continuation, this should be winning for white. He'll be the exchange up, and these pawns are going to get munched. So it's nearly, the victory is getting sort of more simple, that Anand can transpose into winning endgames now if needed. So Topalov, he doesn't play knight takes f2, he plays actually queen f5, and now the final move of the game is the rook going onto the 7th rank with rook e7. That looks like the most clinical, that looks like a beautiful logical move, rook e7, threatening just simply queen, g7 mate. And again, these entry points are just lethal on c8 and e8. So say rook f7. Now a beautiful deflection move to deflect the queen from g6. So queen g6 here. So king would have to move. And to speed up things here, not rook f7, that would allow maybe queen, a queen check and knight e1, that would ruin things. No, just go with tempo, check to win f7 with tempo. So say like this, and that's mating. Or if king g8, then queen takes f7. So that's just decisive. This rook coming to the 7th rank here. So Anand's defending f2, with his calm moves rook c2 in the midst of that attack that he was carrying out. It's just beautiful. It's just poetry. So what happens here? After rook takes e6, was there any defense? Let's say bishop h7. Just rook e7 here. Again, forking then queen and then g7 for mating purposes. So that's hopeless here. So there aren't too many defensive tries here. let's see, what have we examined? So we've examined bishop a7, knight d3 was played. If queen h7, what did we say here? Just check, maybe. Oh, this is a different, we hadn't examined this. Okay, if queen h7, check. Alright, now if the king, say the king moves to h8, what would happen here? Just rook takes e4. Again, the queen's overloaded now because of this g7 square. So queen e4, queen g7. And now the rook's threatening, this horrible rook h4. So that's kind of crushing. So it's just unbelievable, really. Let's have a look in overview and summary at this game. So a quiet Catalan. I think the Catalan's popularity is going to surge up in now, because if 2800 can lose twice in it, this opening needs to be revisited. So with this queen takes d2, Anand's not concerned about, he wants to use the dark squares. Black's exchanged off the dark square bishop. There was a rest of the world game a few years ago where a correspondence GM played in a similar kind of style, sacking a few pawns, and the dark squares were useful. The Queen's Indian has this potential fatality here. If you're going to give up that dark square bishop, that they're vulnerable later, and so it's kind of a logical echo of that h6 and g7, these are also dark squares, so it's logical that there was like a sack there later in a way. So the d5 break first caused quite a lot of distraction, of a lot of black resources trying to just hold up this queenside pawn structure. So in a way they were distracted to the queen side, leaving the king kind of bare and without too many defensive resources. So it doesn't matter who you are, if you've got a weak king position, you're liable to be blown away. It doesn't matter if you're 2800 or whatever. So Anand, he has to make this knight sack work though. So the key thing is the follow up, and it's just beautiful to play through again. So with this amazing idea of e5 and just giving up the bishop, with the idea potentially of another rook sack, just to get the rook, one of the rooks on this lethal fourth rank, for either g4 or h4 to be used. So bishop takes g2, and now this e takes f6. Beautiful form pawn with ideas of f7 and knight takes f7, and these entry points now being exposed to these two rooks as well as the potential use of the fourth rank. And so Topalov's defense, so bishop d5 is refuted by rook c4, so he plays bishop e4, which is more vulnerable. But if he doesn't do anything, there's a lot of simple moves now for white. King takes, rook takes, and rook e7. There's a lot of simple, dangerous threats. So if you think there's a defense, please post your example defensive tries in the comments of this video. So rook takes e6, rook c2 defending f2, and now this f7, and now Anand's on top again. He's just taking that bishop with still menacing threats with these rooks. So rook g4 primary threat defended against, but now just rook e7. Fantastic stuff from Anand, fantastic. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.